Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a watch me do nails or an acrylic nail tutorial. And so right now I'm just pushing the cuticle back in all the fingers. Okay, after I push back the cuticle, I'm going to be taking a sanding bit and I'm just going to be removing the top shine from the nail. And it's very important to be careful with this step. You do not want to dig into the nail, you just want to remove the shine. And after this, I'm going to just be placing my tips. I don't show much of this because it's just placing tips. When you get the hang of it, you get the hang of it. So I'm just picking out the size for each nail, making sure it's from one side of the nail to the other. And sometimes I customize the nails. I'll file a bit off of the edges to make them fit perfectly. Now I'll just be taking my nail cutter and I'm just going to be cutting down the nails to whatever length she wants. She kind of wanted them a medium long length, and I like to make sure I measure each nail to each other and not just to the other hand, if that makes any sense. The previous hand y'all saw, I had already shaped that hand, so I'm just going to go ahead and shape this one for y'all. And since she did want a coffin shape, I'm just going to go ahead and take the tiniest bit off of the tip of the nail with a straight edge nail clipper. And this is just going to help me save some time when it goes down to filing. After I cut the edges off, I'm just going to be taking my file and I'll be filing it at an angle and straight down. And you have to be careful to not touch your client's skin, because in my opinion, it's easier to cut somebody with a nail file than with the actual nail drill. And I'll be taking my Valentino acrylics to do this set. I will make sure I put the shades around the screen, but I don't remember what shades I use. So to prep the nails, I'm going to be taking the Valentino Dehydrator and the Nail Bond Primer, which y'all see me applying right now. I like to use 2 coats of the primer. It's just preference. It's not necessary, but that's just the way that I like doing my nails. So now I'll be applying the yellow, and I like to get more of a wetter bead. It just depends how the consistency that you like, but I like getting a wetter bead so I can move the acrylic a bit more easier. And I am going ahead and using more of a thin layer so that I can go back and encapsulate it with clear. And that's one thing that I love doing with all my nails. If it's a color nail, I like to encapsulate it in clear. Y'all didn't see me do it right then, but I will be doing it later on. So y'all see me applying the black, and I always like to apply my first bead towards the end of your natural nail. And I like to drag it down and make sure that the color is very opaque and all of that. And I usually apply 2 to 3 beads, sometimes even 4. There's no specific number of beads to apply, it's just preference. But yeah, I like applying one in the middle of the nail, in the middle of like the entire nail. Then I apply one slightly above it to start giving it a good apex. And then the last note that I usually apply is to cover closer to the cuticle area. And now y'all just see me applying some dried flowers. I usually put a little bead of clear acrylic down so that it has something to adhere to, but I just went ahead and did it like that. And now I'll just be going back and encapsulating the flowers, and I do apply a bit of a thicker layer in this nail because I kind of forgot that I was doing flowers, so I made the black a little bit thick, but it's okay. I applied a thicker clear, and whenever I go back to file it, it'll look just as good as the rest of the nails. So even there, when you saw the angle of the nail, it wasn't completely smooth or flat on the top, but I will go back and file it down, so it doesn't really, as long as you don't leave all of your nails looking like that, because then you're just making it more difficult for you in the end when it comes down to filing. So with the middle finger, I am applying a thinner layer of yellow because I will be adding some letters to it, or a letter to it. So anytime I want to, or I'm going to encapsulate something, I like to apply a thinner base so that the nail doesn't come out as thick in the end. And if y'all want me to do a more in-depth video of nails and like a 40-minute long video so I can go into detail about everything and show y'all different consistency of beads and all of that, make sure to leave a comment down below because I would love to do that if y'all willing to watch it. So now y'all see me, I use these tweezers to apply stickers and stuff because they are sticky. So you just see me pressing down the nail and moving it into place, and I always make sure to ask your client if they like the placement of where you put things, because it might be straight to you but in their eyes it might not be straight. And now I'm just going back and encapsulating it with a thin layer of clear. And as you can tell, most of my nails, I applied a really smooth application. So when it comes down to filing and all of that, I won't need to file as much. So only one that I really will need to file is the one with the flowers. And also, if y'all want to see me do a video on me reviewing Valentino acrylic versus Mia Secret acrylic, make sure to leave a comment down below because I have used both before. Now the thumb is going to be a little bit different because I will be doing like a yellow and black marbling to it. So I'm applying the wettest beads to the thumb, and I'm just putting the slightest layer of yellow on and then a really wet bead of black. So as you can tell, I'm just dabbing it. I'm not really pulling the brush down or anything. And I'm just going back and forth in between the yellow and black to make sure that I like how the marble's looking. And after I finish doing this and it's to my liking, I will encapsulate it with clear acrylic. Okay guys, and this is the application. So now that I applied acrylic to all the nails, I'm just going to go back and I'm going to reshape them. But since I already gave them a pretty good shape in the beginning, this doesn't take me that long. It's just to make sure that the nail has a really sharp coffin shape to it. Later on, I'll make a video and I'll be more detailed about how to hold your file and what angles are best to achieve a certain look. I like more of a really straight out coffin nail instead of a curved nail. And it's very important to hold your client's fingers very sturdy, because if you're letting their fingers move around a lot while you're filing, that's going to cause more tension and pain to them. So I always say this: I rather have my finger sore and in pain than my client's finger and in pain, because you want this to be a very comfortable experience for them. Okay guys, so now I'm going to be taking my drill, and I am using a fine drill bit, and it's very important to use whatever you feel comfortable using. I don't use one with the safety on the edge because I just feel more comfortable with this one. So yeah, y'all see me filing this nail a lot, and it's because of how thick I had made it in the beginning. But you'll see in a little bit that it smooths out really nicely and it ends up looking really good. And I like to file in circular motions from one side to the other. At first, I'll file from up to down of the nail just to smooth out the tip. But when it comes down to getting closer to the cuticle, I like going round from right to left. And if anyone's wondering, when I do this part, I use my machine on speed 9 or 11. It just depends. After that is done, I'm just going with a cuticle bit, and this is just to make sure that there's no acrylic stuck near or on your cuticle. And it also helps to make sure that the nails won't lift, because you're making sure that you're closing down that gap between your natural nail and the acrylic that you place. So last step before we apply the gel top coat and all of that, I'll just be buffing underneath the nails and on top to smooth them out on top, and to make sure that there's no little pieces of nail hanging out from the bottom from when I filed. And this is what it looks like before I sent her to go wash her hand, and I'm so sorry that it's out of focus. Alright, so while I send my client to wash her hands, I always like to take a Clorox wipe, or if not, some Lysol in a napkin, and to clean off my work area very good. And this just makes sure that everything's disinfected and there's no loose powder or anything. After she washes her hand, I'm going to be taking the Elite 99 matte top coat on her pinky and her thumb. She wanted those two nails matte, so we just went ahead and did that first. After I apply the matte coat, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Valentino top coat for the other 3 nails. After the top coats are complete, I will be curing it for 60 seconds. And if y'all also want to see a little beauty room tour, make sure to leave a comment so I'll make a detailed video of how I set up my station. To finish off the nails before applying cuticle oil, she did want some black diamonds, so we're just going to go ahead and add that to the middle finger. And these are some black diamonds with like reflective greenness and yellowness on them. And I do use a Zulay nail adhesive. It is really strong and really good, so make sure you do not get this on your client's skin. And I will be using the Mia Secret gel activator just to secure the diamonds in place. Alright guys, so while y'all see the end result of the nails, I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway that will end next Friday. Anyone from my area can enter and you'll be getting a free nail set of your choice. And to enter the giveaway, first you have to make sure to like and subscribe to my channel and follow my nail page, which I will leave all of this down below, and retweet my nail post on Twitter. Once you do all of that, leave a comment down below with your @ so I can make sure and double check that you completed everything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope y'all enjoyed this video.